There's some agents similar to my story in 2008, their business was completely wiped out because everything that they were doing no longer worked.
It wasn't scalable.
It wasn't scalable.
All right, guys, so I want to go ahead and make sure that you guys get some information that I think will be extremely valuable. I'm sitting here with Justin Juarez, who actually runs a few of the Keller Williams offices in our area, and who better to talk to than Justin? So I want to start off with, first and foremost, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. Well, Jose, I've been in real estate for 20 years, and I've been with Keller Williams for just under 6. And prior to KW, I actually owned my own business and had several businesses that were all tied to real estate. And I thought that I was achieving a high level of success. And then 2008 came along and, what felt like overnight pulled the rug out from underneath me. And I realized very quickly that although I thought I was doing the right thing by creating multiple revenue streams, my businesses were very creative. And because they were creative.
What do you mean by creative?
Meaning the timing of the market. They were not based off systems and models, right?
Got it.
Because of that, they were not predictable. I never knew how much I was going to make each year. It was like, let's see how much my phone rings. And most importantly, because it was creative, because it was not predictable, it was not duplicatable.
Right.
Meaning that when the market crashed, I couldn't redo it, right? In fact, if one of my agents at the time said, Justin, show me how to build what you've built, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Right.
And the aha that I had during that time is, as I was experiencing one of the toughest economic times of my life, I saw there were other real estate agents that were having the best years of their careers because they were using systems and models. And the aha that I took away from that is, in a good market, people buy and sell homes. And in a bad market, people buy and sell homes.
Right.
So it was several years later that I had joined Keller Williams, and once I actually understood how to build a business using proven systems and models that are based on proven strategies is when my business changed.
I love that. So, and honestly, that's something that a lot of people went through. That's something that people are still going through today as far as how they're establishing their businesses. A lot of people are just kind of building it up as they go, right? And not really implementing something that, like you said, is duplicatable, right? And specific. So tell me a little bit about what you're seeing as far as how agents are coming into the industry, and what are some of the biggest mistakes that they're making when they're first starting out?
Absolutely. Well, number one, Jose, I'd like to make a comment that this is an amazing time to get into real estate, right?
Absolutely.
This is an amazing time. One of the biggest mistakes that I see agents making is they choose a company that has the lowest fees.
The cheapest.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we've all heard the saying, you get what you pay for, right? In fact, when I was looking at joining Keller Williams, somebody asked me a question that changed my life. He said, Justin, what's more important to you? How much money you pay a company, or how much money you bring home to your family? And the reason why that's powerful is because some agents think, I'm going to go sign up with a company that provides the least amount of fees, not knowing that that company may not provide them with systems and models and proven strategies to build big businesses. Meaning, if an agent wanted to close one deal a year, that might be the best place for them. Right. But if an agent wanted to learn how to build a big business, then it's important that they surround themselves in an environment that has a track record of showing agents how to build big businesses.
I love that. And you can see that obviously, I've been around you and with the company now for a little bit over 3 years. And yeah, you can definitely see that. You can see that if you are, comfortable closing, 6 to 10 deals a year, if you want to grow to 15 to 20, if you want to be a team leader, if you want to, there's so much opportunity, and it literally gives you the game plan step by step on how to get there.
Absolutely.
It's just up to you to implement it.
Absolutely.
So I love that. And so from that, you obviously you meet with a lot of agents. What impact do you see that having on them when they make that decision?
When an agent decides to make a decision to join a brokerage, either on the lowest fees, or maybe they join a brokerage because they have a friend there, right? The biggest impact it has on them is they're licensed, but they're not reaching their goals, right? They're not closing the deals that they thought they would because they're just kind of out there to figure it out on their own.
Exactly. So, okay, so you're meeting with them, and what do you see that they realistically need to realize in order to correct that? I mean, what's the next step? Once they actually make that realization, what's the next step?
Well, I've always told agents that, number one, you have to start with the end in mind. For example, we know that agents have different definitions of success, meaning one agent might have one number that's going to be success to them, and another agent might have a different number. And whatever that number is, we have to decide what that number is and then reverse engineer it. And that's going to tell us one number that by focusing on that one number is going to ensure that that agent hits their annual goal.
That's perfect. So basically, I mean, what is your goal? What lifestyle do you want to achieve? And then let's work backwards in order to make sure we have the steps and the plan in place.
Absolutely. So for example, if an agent wanted to, let's just hypothetically say an agent wanted to make $100,000, right? Well, number one, we know we now have their income goal.
Right.
And we would say, well, what's the average commission? If we use a low, very conservative number of 10,000, that tells us that that agent would need to have at least 10 closings that year to reach their gross goal. And there's a couple of other variations in conversion rates that we have to do, but basically by doing that, we would then boil it down to how many appointments that agent needs to go on a weekly basis to ensure they're going to hit their financial goal.
You know, and I love that because I see new agents coming to the office, or even veterans, right? That really are just winging it. They're just, taking on business as it comes, but they don't really have a set plan. And, I see you meeting with them. You've met with some of my team members as well, and you get that structure in place. You literally come out of the meeting with an actual business plan, right? And we don't have to have something complicated. We, at Keller Williams, we literally have a one-page business plan to get you there.
Absolutely.
So I love that.
Jose, one other point on that is that in our market today, agents have kind of been spoiled. And what I mean by that is when interest rates are low and the market is hot, and now with social media, there's some agents who have built their entire business just on them and their personality and posts on social media. And that's great. Yeah. The issue is what we saw is that when COVID hit and we had all these restrictions and stay-at-home orders, there's some agents similar to my story in 2008, their business was completely wiped out because everything that they were doing no longer worked.
It wasn't scalable.
It wasn't scalable. And then Jose, there's agents like you and your team that were using systems and models, and regardless of what's going on outside, you were still generating results.
We had the best year, during the pandemic.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Because you were using systems and models.
They know where they're at now. They know what they need to do to fix it. So what is it that they need to either implement, or what lesson do they learn in order to move forward from there? Absolutely.
Well, Jose, throughout my career, one thing that I've realized is every time I had an opportunity, it wasn't because of me. It was because I surrounded myself with other people who were either more experienced in life, more experienced in business, and it allowed me to become a sponge. And through that opportunity, I was able to develop and grow professionally and personally. Right. So the one piece of advice I'd give to an agent who wanted to build a business built off of systems and models that is non-creative, that's predictable, and most importantly, duplicatable, regardless of what the industry is doing, is to put themselves in an environment where other people are getting the results that they want.
And actually practicing.
Yeah,
I love that. Okay. I mean, I just love that you make that point, because that's one of the reasons that I'm, in the office that I'm in, because I remember just going around, even like just taking the tour, I saw people actually working, actually prospecting, actually doing the things that we know we're supposed to be doing, right? And when you surround yourself with those people, you end up implementing a lot of those practices, through osmosis, basically.
Absolutely.
Right? So I love that. Perfect. Well, what would you say, or what advice would you give to an agent that's going through that? What would be the next step in their career, in their process, or whatever, in order to be able to get to a point where they're able to do that?
I would suggest that if an agent is just getting into the business, or even if they're already licensed at another brokerage, that they set up an appointment with our office where somebody on our leadership team can do just that. Help them identify their goal, help them determine what that one number is that they need to focus on in order to hit that. And at the very least, they're going to have a game plan. In a business where, as agents, we're teaching our buyers to do due diligence, we're teaching our sellers to do due diligence, it's equally as important that you and I as agents, and all of the agents that are getting licensed, that they do their due diligence and meet with our brokerage to ensure that they're in the best environment to help them reach their goals.
I love that. And yeah, like you said before, I mean, there's so many different models, different type of brokerages, and you know, maybe this is a good fit for you, maybe it's not. But at the end of the day, you come out of there with value, regardless of actually getting down to the main issue and establishing a game plan.
Agreed.
So awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you soon.